So. I'm here this evening. It is 9 o'clock. And first of all, huge apologies for the fact that I wasn't. Let me just put this on to, let's just do this. Right, that's it. So I'm going to share with you exactly what's been going on over the last couple of days. I'm really sorry. First of all, let me say sorry. Let me apologize. I know everybody had an expectation of me to be live here last night. There she is, Lucy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All will be revealed and all will become much closer. I've just had a lovely call from Natalie, and I know Emma Jane and Natalie and Farida and lots of you beautiful ladies have been a little bit concerned about me, and I thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart that I've been in your thoughts enough to care enough to send me a message. I just want to say thank you for that, first of all. Hey, Sarah Jane. I'm not going to ask too many questions this evening because I just want to share with you, okay? I didn't make it to the live 11 p.m. yesterday, and simply because at 6:30, after I spoke to everybody here at 6 p.m, at 6:30, I went to bed. And I went to bed and I slept all the way through till 10 to 7 this morning. And then I wanted to go live 11 a.m. today, but I was still processing some stuff and working through some stuff. So I didn't manage 11 o'clock today. And I wanted to make it this evening at 9 because I needed some time for myself. And I'm going to be really, really honest with you here. I'm going to be so honest that it might scare some of you, because many coaches that you will see, and maybe you've worked with them, they will project an image of life is perfect. I'm a coach. I know how to coach. I've done all the inner work on myself. I'm amazing. I never have any problems. I'm just in this ethereal and esoteric place of completeness and wholeness. That's what many coaches would want you to believe. Why do they want you to believe that? Because they want you to work with them. And if you were to believe that they were in any way flawed or that they weren't perfectly whole, you might not want to work with them. All right. That's most coaches. In fact, that's the majority of coaches. They don't want to show you their weakness because they are afraid if they showed you their true thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, that you might be scared, and you want them to be perfect. You want to put them on that pedestal of they've got the perfect life, and if I work with them, I will have the perfect life too. So I'm actually going to shatter that for you now. This last week has been such a emotional and emotive week for me. It has raised many issues in my life that I didn't even know existed. And alongside me doing this, I've already shared with you that I'm doing a sister circle where we come together and we really talk truth from our hearts. And those two things combined gave me a massive realization about myself and some things that I hadn't dealt with. And they're not about anything recent. It really does stem back all the way to when I was 2 years old. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I want you to understand that sometimes we go through life, and because we are big, and because we are old, and because we have had children, and because we've done lots of things, we tell ourselves a story that we've dealt with everything that we need to deal with and life is fine. And that works for most people, but it doesn't work for me, because I am a life coach and I am a clinical hypnotherapist. And my job is to reconnect you with your happiness. And my job is to allow you to work through all of the repressed issues of the past so that you can be free of any pain, torment, guilt, or shame, or any of those things that have kept you playing small, not speaking your truth, not being honest to yourself and to others, and all of those things. Okay. But I am that coach that is real. I am a real life coach, and I will talk the truth to you, whether you want to hear it or not, to be honest. And I can tell you that this last week has brought up a lot of things for me about my childhood. As much as I'm going to put it into a really short story for you that I hope you're going to be able to connect with. If you can imagine, at the age of 2 years old, if you can imagine standing next to you know, I was standing next to my mum at 2 years old, standing in a children's home outside of the office where everything happens. And me and my mum were standing there, and she was holding my hand, and I was only 2 and she was however old. And she looked very tall and very amazing and very beautiful to me. And I just remember that she had this yellow dress on. I've told you this before. She had this yellow dress on, and she had the most beautiful tan skin. And I thought she was amazing and beautiful. And at that point, of me snapshotting that image, my mum walked out of the door of that children's home, and I never saw her again. And what struck me over the last couple of days, which I've never ever thought about before, and I am 54 years of age, but what struck me this weekend that I'd never thought about before is that little girl that was 2 years old. There must have been a point where I thought, my mum's gone. I'm in this massive big house with lots of bedrooms and lots of other children and lots of people I don't know. And I'm thinking, okay, where's my mum? And then, you know, I'm saying this to you, but I don't actually ever remember thinking this. And what has really come to me this weekend, which really has knocked me out of alignment and given me a lot of emotional sadness, was me thinking back to that time when I was 2 years old and thinking, how did I process that? Did I think to myself, okay, mum must be coming back soon, day one, and then mum didn't come back. Day two, mum still didn't come back. At what point did I think my mum is never, ever going to come back and I'm never, ever going to see my mum again? I don't know. And the thought of that, thinking about me as a little girl, as 2 years old, thinking, because I don't remember it, I just remember that moment, that snapshot in time, me thinking about how I must have felt then, it emotionally knocked me for 6. I've had a lot of emotion about this and a lot of tears, and it's totally knocked me out of kilter. Now, I am very lucky. You know why? Because I'm a hypnotherapist and I'm a life coach. So everything that I do with my clients, that I teach them how to deal with emotion, Emma Jane will tell you about this, about the way that you deal with certain things, that the strategies that I've taught her of how to deal with crisis in that moment so that you can stand objectively and look in and be able to rationalize. I had to use all my teachings on myself. That's what I've had to do this weekend. And it's been very, very difficult and very challenging and very emotional and very tearful and very heartbreaking for me. And so the one place where I always go, where I can always find the answers, because for me, that is the only reality, is the woods. I go to the woods. I connect with the trees. I did a lot of tree hugging today. I did a lot of walking through the woods. I walked through the woods for about 2 hours. And then when you're in that place of absolute sadness, when you fall down that rabbit hole, it's very hard to rationalize. You must know this to be true. So in that moment of absolute despair, of thinking, my mum never loved me, she walked away from me, she didn't want me, I must have done something awful for her not to have wanted me. In that moment of that absolute sadness, I then thought, you know, you start telling yourself these lies. And the lies that I told myself this morning was, I've got no one. There's no one I can actually talk to about this, because I'm a coach and I can't tell people that work with me, people who I empower to be free of all of this stuff. I can't talk to them. I can't talk to anybody. And I really was down on myself, and I cried a lot. I did. And still there was no one I could talk to. Now, I've got a very good friend, and I texted her at 7 o'clock this morning, and I said to her, you know what, I've been doing this 5-day challenge. I'm working with people, and it's brought up a lot of my own stuff, and I'm struggling. And I left it at that, and I went to the woods anyway. I did my own stuff. I talked to the trees, I talked to the universe, I did my own self-evaluation, I did my own self-prognosis, and I did my own self-healing. And I'm not there yet. Okay, I'm actually going to take a week off of work this week to process everything that I've realized about myself after 52 years. Big stuff. And what she did is she then rang me when I was in the woods, and she said, where are you? I'm outside your house. And I said, oh, I've gone on a walk. Anyway, she came and rescued me. She took me home. We sat out here, we drank tea, and we talked things through. And obviously at that moment, I started to be able to rationalize again. But I can tell you now, and I don't know if this resonates with you, but when I was in that moment of absolute pain, rejection, abandonment, dejection, pure pain, pure emotional pain, I believed that no one loved me, no one cared about me, and I couldn't talk to anyone. And of course, these were lies. I've got lots of beautiful friends that deeply care about me. But in that moment, They weren't my friends. They didn't love me enough. They couldn't know my pain. They couldn't understand how I was feeling. That was a story I told myself. I posted something on Facebook today, and if you've seen it, you'll know exactly where my head was. Because when I did my 2-hour walk, when I come to the point of realization, I realized, and I can't say it word for word verbatim, but I wrote something like, the joy that you experience is only in your head. The pain that you experience is only in your head. The bliss that you experience is only ever in your head. And anytime you want to experience any one of those things, you make a choice. And I choose happiness. And in that moment, I chose happiness. And it was really beautiful because while I was out walking, I got all of these signs. I'm very much, you know, when you start, first of all, you'll do the basic 3D stuff, which is the material world. But when you start moving up into using your sixth sense, your intuition, your connection to the universe, you will see signs and symbols that will give you the clarity and the confirmation that you need. Now, this might be esoteric to a lot of you, but I've been doing this work for a long time, so I'm very much into signs and symbols. And as I walked through the fields, I happened to see, and I've never seen this before in the whole time that I've lived in this village and done my walk, I've never seen this before. On this day, I saw a horse. You'll see it. I posted it on Facebook. A horse came walking towards me. Mad, right? A horse. It was a beautiful white and brown horse. It was really beautiful. And she was walking towards me and I was walking through and I was crying because I was on my own and I'm allowed to cry when I want to cry. And she walked up to me and I said, hi. She said, hi. She said, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just appreciating all that I have. All that I have. Sometimes it takes for you to be in pain to realize how lucky you are so that you can get back into a place of love, self-love. Because I started saying all those things to myself. How can I teach anybody about self-love when I don't even have that myself? These are the lies you tell yourself, right? And I had to do all of the strategies that I've learned to heal myself. I had to do that on myself very quickly in succession. And I saw this horse and I went over to it. Now, I don't know if you know, but horses are very, very emotional creatures. I used to be scared of horses. I wonder if any of you are. And then I met a horse whisperer. I met her at the BU event, the big event. It goes on at Earl's Court every year, and it's all of personal development. And when I was there, I met a horse whisperer, and she told me, if you feel uncomfortable in the presence of a horse or a cat, it's because you are not in tune with your own emotions. And from that point onwards, I used to be scared of cats and horses. Weird? No, not coincidence. Absolute synchronicity. So now I always stroke cats and I always stroke horses when I get to them. This horse came towards me and I said, what's your horse's name? And she said, Captain. And I looked in this horse's eyes and this horse looked in my eyes and we looked at each other. And this horse turned its head to me and I stroked this horse. And the love that I felt from this horse was absolutely amazing. No words needed to be said. I felt everything in that moment of stroking this horse. And this woman was looking at me, but I was just looking at the horse and the horse is just looking at me, and I just calmed. I felt my emotions calm. I felt myself regulate my emotions again, and I felt fine. And then I looked up and I said, and what's your name? And she said, Jade. Now, coincidentally or not, this is up to you. But that morning, the one person that can always bring me back down, you know, I'm going to be really honest here. If you can take this, take it. If you want to judge me, but I'm going to share because I don't lie. I never lie about anything, even if people don't want to hear it, right? When I was talking to my son this morning about the way that I was feeling and I was really crying, this is what he said to me. He said, Mum, you have this vision of everyone loves their mum and their mum is everything and everybody needs a mum and everyone's mum is perfect. But he said, Mum, he said, I've got a mum. I've got you. And you think that you've missed out so much by not having a mum. But he said, I can tell you this now because you are my mum. Once upon a time, you used to be my everything. My whole world existed around you. And then as I got older, when my life wasn't going very well, I blamed you for everything. Do you remember that? And I said, yeah, I remember that. He said, but do you remember what I told you when I actually realized? I told you that, Mum, it doesn't matter what you did, whether you were good, whether you were bad, whether you were indifferent. It actually doesn't matter what you do. The moment that I realized that it's not down to you for me to be happy, I am the only person that can make me happy, was when I was able to let go of every negative thought I had about you. Do you remember that, Mum? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I want you to remember that now. I want you to remember that your mum, your dead mother, who you never knew, was never responsible for your happiness. That made me cry. He said, your mum, you need to realize this. He said, because I'm also going to tell you something else. You were my world up until I was 26 years old. And he said, and then I had my kids. And he said, and all of a sudden, they became my world. He said, Mum, you're not going to like this. He said, but I love them even more than I love you. They are my everything. So what I want to tell you is, Mum, you keep thinking about your mum and thinking that you've missed out. But in fact, you've got the very best thing in the world because you've got us. And that's the best and deepest love you will ever have in your life. Can you take that? That's coming from somebody who's got a mum and who's got children. I don't have a mum, so I can't contest that. I have to believe him because he's had that experience, which I never had. And I was like, wow. And he said, yeah, he goes, you're longing for a dream that's not real. You're longing for a fantasy that you never had. And the reason why it burns you and it hurts you so much is because you'll never know the truth because you never had a mum. But he said, I'm telling you the truth now. You are my, because I love you. He goes, above my kids, I love you most in the world, but I don't love you more than my kids. My kids are mine. They came from me and we came from you. You've got everything, Mum. Wow. Wow. That was so emotional for me. But it also helped to disrupt the negative cycle of negative thoughts that I was in. And I was so grateful for him telling me that at that time. And then he showed me my grandson, who is only 14 days old. And he said, look, Mum, he said, that's your grandson. And you couldn't have had that grandson if you didn't have me. Can you see what you've created? Oh, I was in tears. I love that little baby. And again, he said to me, and Mum, he said, you've got to let go of that so that you can have this, because this is here. I'm going to cry. I'm telling you right now. He said, this is here. And we love you so much. We want you to be a part of our family. We want you to come back to us. Stop living in the past. That was emotional. I was really emotional because I heard it. I felt it in my heart. And I said, I hear you. I hear you. And so that was my little grandson, Jaden. And then when I was walking in the forest and I saw the lady on the horse and I looked at the horse and the horse released me, I said, what's your name? And she said, Jade. Now, you might all think, well, that's just a coincidence, Jaden. It's not a coincidence. I called that in. That was the healing that I needed right there and then in that moment. And I looked up at it and I had tears running down my face. And I said, Jade, thank you so much for being you, for being here, for being captain. Thank you. And she went, why? I said, you don't need to know. You've saved me today. Thank you. And I went through to the woods. And as I was walking through the woods, it's just mad. I sat and I did some meditating on a big log. And as I got up from the log, I looked over and she was still standing in the field, her on her horse. And they were both looking at me. And I just waved. I said, I'm okay. And then they went off. And as I got off the log, I looked over and I saw this big thing, big round thing. I've not got very good eyesight. No, my eyesight's improving every day. And I saw this thing there and I thought, what is that? And I photographed it quite a few times and you'll see it on my Facebook. It was a massive, big turkey, a full-grown turkey with a bright red beak, beautiful brown plumage, all on its own, sitting in a forest, just by itself, just that. I actually missed something out because when I woke up this morning and I was in such pain in my heart, I went into my son's room and my son is 17 and I needed a cuddle. And he had his quilt on and I climbed over and I was cuddling him and and I was crying and he said, Mum, what's wrong? I said, nothing. And he said, what's wrong, Mum? And I said, no, it's okay. And he said, Mum, why don't you just go and have a shower? And I thought he was saying that I smelt. So I got up out of bed. I said, I'm sorry. He said, Mum. And I said, what? He said, I love you. And I said, okay. For some reason, I looked at my clock and my clock said 0707. Now, you might not know about numerology. This might be the beginning of your enlightenment and awakening. But when you do start, if you ever worked with me, you would know all of these things because this is what I teach you, because this is how you heal. And I looked up 0707, look it up yourself. And it said, this is a great time for your personal development. There's big changes going on. Oh, it was just on point. And I was like, thank you. That was my first sign. Second sign was Jaden. Third sign was Jade. fourth sign was the turkey, because you look up turkey as a spirit symbol. Spirit is a spirit animal, and it says everything about everything's coming for you, da, 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 da. And it was just on point. And that's, and along with my own strategies of what I use, I was released. I was free from something that happened 52 years ago. Can you believe that? 52 years ago, it took me that long to release myself. And I've never seen that was an issue before until we've done this. And I know now why I did this 5-day challenge, because I needed to have that lesson. And there is a lesson for you here, whether you see it or not now, whether you've experienced it or not through these 5 days. There is something that you needed to learn. I don't know what it is. You might not know what it is, but over the coming weeks, you will know exactly what it is. I'm telling you that now, without a doubt. And it's just been such a revelation for me. So I came home and and I wanted to do the 11 o'clock thing. And then I thought, no, I'm not. I love you. I love every one of you, but I love myself more. And at that moment, I had to go on at 11 o'clock. I said, I can't go on at 11 o'clock. I need to do me right now. I need to do me right now. So I did me. And I did put a post up. I looked at it in the group. It's not there. I said, I'm coming on at 9, right? And slowly throughout the day, I've let all that pain disseminate. It's all fragmented. And that pain isn't there anymore. But it's interesting because I spoke to my sister in America about half an hour ago, right? And I was speaking to her about, how do you feel about mum? Because obviously my mum put me and my brother and my sister in care at the age of 2. And she was speaking about it. And I said, do you feel you've been resolved? And she said, oh, yeah, she's a doctor. She is a doctor in America. She earns loads of money. She's got a big house and she's got these things. But you know what? My sister, and I'm so glad she's not here, because my sister is living in a world of her own fantasy. She believes she's healed everything, but my sister can't hold on to a man. She's had so many men, so many men. And I said to her, isn't it interesting? I said, you've had a lot of boyfriends, haven't you? And she said, yeah. She said, because I choose to. Now, come on, let's be honest. Who wants to have a million boyfriends? Really? Do we like variety that much? I don't want a million boyfriends. I don't have a boyfriend now. Do you know why I don't have a boyfriend? Because I'm not a whole person. I'm very nearly there, very nearly there. And in fact, before this happened with my mum, I thought I'd broken through every limiting belief that I ever had. Really big stuff. I'm talking really big stuff. I'm talking like 2 years ago, I went to the police and I spoke to them about a sexual assault that happened to me, that I'd repressed since it happened to me when I was 13, and I'd repressed that. And only 2 years ago, I went to the police and I reported it at the age of 51. I reported it, right? So I truly believe I didn't have anything else to reveal until I realized my mum. And now I really don't have anything to go through, but you don't know, because we think we are whole. We go through our lives thinking we are whole, but you don't know what you've repressed so that you can wake up every day and feel okay and feel ready to live that day. And our subconscious minds and our minds, we have to do that, because if we didn't do it, if we carried all that pain every single day, we wouldn't want to live. And in fact, the people that cannot carry all that pain, that's why they're not here. People who commit suicide cannot deal with all the memories and the emotions of the pain that they've experienced. It's too much, and they have to leave this world because they cannot process the pain that they are going through. And some people get through life by repressing, suppressing, and pushing things down and believing they're okay. And they are okay until one thing triggers everything. That's why people have breakdowns when they're 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, because you get to a point, especially if you've gone through your whole life, and you might feel that void. We talk about the void. What are you filling your void with? It's a question that I asked you all. What are you filling your void with? And many people fill their void with husbands, jobs, grandkids. They do all of these things to excess, so they never have time to be still. And if you remember the chart of emotion, the emotional chart, I posted it in our page, right? I've been existing in the blue place of the blue level of gratitude. That's where I've been for a very, very long time. Today, I'm down and I'm in the white spectrum. The white spectrum is neutrality. I'm in a quiet place of stillness, because I went all the way down to orange. I went down to doubt. I went down to insecurity. I went down to pain. I went down to rejection. I went down to abandonment. Look it up in the group after we finish this live. Look it up yourself. I went all the way down to orange, and I've spent this weekend working my way back to white, neutrality, acceptance. And it will be a week or two until I'm back up in the blue of gratitude, joy, happiness. But you know what? I couldn't get back to blue unless I'd had that experience of orange. Because as you go through your life, when you get to that place of real comfortable, that's the only time you're ever going to get those big emotions. I was in a place of comfortable. Ask anybody who's working with me. I'm that happy. Woo! I'm all right, because I have been. And it's only when you can reach that place, that's when the universe, your subconscious, tells you, all right, she's strong. She's ready. Now we can reveal to her the darkest thing, her darkest shadow, because she's in a strong enough place to work through it, to process it. And that's exactly what happened. So don't believe that thing that I'm really happy. Oh my gosh, I can't be happy for long. Something's going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's just the universe's way of saying, I'm only going to give you as much as what you can take, right? You're only ever given as much as what you can handle at the time that you can handle it. That's why revelations come at different points, because if you had it all at once, you just couldn't handle it. It would be too much. So, you know, I realized yesterday, and I probably know you did too. I know I came off the live yesterday feeling my vibration was really low, because all of this was coming up, and it was coming up big, and it was coming up fast, and I wasn't able to control it. And that's why I was quite low yesterday, because I was dealing with stuff. Today, I'm in a better place. I'm in a place of acceptance, and that's all you can hope for. When you've gone through trauma, you just need to get back to that place of acceptance. So I want to say to you, if throughout this week you felt a little, don't know what that was. If you felt a little uncomfortable, maybe you've had a little bit of discombobulation, expect that, because you've done a lot of work. You've done a lot of realizations. And I've only skimmed the surface. Like I told you yesterday, what I've worked with you over this 5 days is like that much of what I know of healing. I know that much. And I've done that much because this is a 5-day challenge. It's free. I can't give you everything because I need to do all the rest of the work. So I can't open you up too much, because at the end of this 5 days, we're finished now. We're not working together anymore. And I don't want to leave you open and raw. So that's why I only just skim the surface. But I want to tell you, over the next couple of weeks, you might feel a little bit more emotionally charged. You might have a few more triggers. I'm going to look at your comments in a minute, beautiful ladies. I love you. But I want to get this out because it's real. It's honest. This is the truth. This is not the bullshit that everyone else will give you. This is the truth of how doing the inner work really works. It doesn't stop. There is no whole per se. There's no perfection. Whole and perfection is when you are dead, because there's no more work to be done. There can be no more work. You're not here anymore. Well, you're not here in this body, all right? Because these are just meat jackets. We come back time and time again. We do the work. And the reason why I do the work, the reason why I put myself through it, because I believe in spiritual beings having a human experience. And I know I've been here before, and I'll be back here again. And I don't want to deal with this shit the next time. I will go through as much pain as I need to right now, because when I come back again, I'm going to be in a, woo, I used to think about people with money. How comes they've got something? How comes I can't get that much money? Do you know why? Because they did the work in the previous years, in the previous lives. We carry ancestral wounds. And the other thing that I realized is we are in a universal sense of abandonment. This is not just me feeling abandoned. I'm tapping in or tuning into the universal feeling of abandonment. Why? Because everything we ever knew has been shaken to the core right now. Everything. And if you are one of those people that is totally oblivious to what's going on, to this vaccine, to this everything, to this child trafficking, to everything, and it is all going on, and you can choose not to see it, that's fine, but it is all going on. If you know about this, then we are all going through it at the same time. We have all been abandoned. We have all been living a lie that we didn't choose, that we've all been born into this lack and conditioning that makes us feel less than, every one of us. And as we are waking up, we realize that we were never given a chance. We weren't taught how to use our brains in the right way, and we weren't taught how to calibrate our minds with our emotions to be free. We weren't taught that. It should be taught in schools. There is a missing gospel of St. Thomas that tells us how to do this. Yeah, I'm getting really esoteric now. I know much more than I'm ever going to share with you because I don't know you, and I don't know what you are open to hearing. And I don't want to mess your life up. I don't want you to walk away wondering, oh my God, what's she talking about? Oh my God, I don't want to do that. But if you want to know more, if you want to reach beyond, if you want to start living with your sixth sense and tuning in and being able to live a life of absolute freedom, and I mean real freedom, freedom where you can do what I did today and you can be honest and open about it. Remember, I was talking about honesty yesterday. I really tried to drum it home, and I know some people didn't get it, but this is honest. This right now is honest. The last week has been honest. It has been honest, but right now I didn't know it was going to trigger me this much, this 5 days, but it's because I've been doing the sister circle as well, where you do have to be open and open your heart. So the point I'm making is the only way to reach a state of enlightenment, to equilibrium, is to be not only honest with everybody else around you, but be honest with yourself. And that allowed me to say, I love you all. And I know you had an expectation of me to be here at 11 o'clock this morning, and that I'd done the 5 days. And there might be some of you saying, well, that was a bit rude. She's done this 5 days and she didn't turn up last night. I couldn't even think about that because I had to place myself first. And I knew that I was going to come on and say sorry. And there will be some of you that won't even accept my apology. There may be, no, there not will be. There may be some of you that can't understand what I'm saying. They still don't get it. They still think, what's she talking about? There may be some of you, but this is as real as it gets, and this is as honest as it gets. And if you ask any of my clients, this is how I work. I am not perfect. Every day I am doing the work. And the reason why my clients can work with me is because they trust me enough to know that I'm never going to stop doing the work. I've devoted my life to this. That's why I can process really big revelations really quickly. It's taken me this weekend. Now, imagine if you were that 2-year-old girl. Imagine if when you were 2 years old, imagine this right now. If you were 2 years old and you walked in a room with your mum somewhere and she left and she never came back, right? How would you process that? Would you pretend it never happened? Would you be just angry with the world? Think about how you process it, because that's what I've had to do. And I've only now been in a place where I'm so strong in who I am that I can allow those feelings to come up and I can allow myself to process them. And it's not going to be today. It is going to be a while. And I'm okay. I'm okay with it because I know how to work through it. That's my job. So I'm blessed that I never, but because of all the big things that have happened to me, that's why I truly believe I found hypnotherapy. I truly believe that I was led to life coaching, because the universe knew you're going to have to work through some big shit, Anne-Marie, and you need tools and you don't have them. And so you need to work in a place, you need to find a modality that's going to help you when you need to help yourself. Because I have a coach, as I keep telling you, she's a 900-pound coach, but she doesn't do this stuff with me. She doesn't do this emotional stuff. She just teaches me about my business. How do I work through my real pain? I work through it myself because I've learned how to. And it's really important, I believe, that you learn how to too. And if you don't do it with me, that's fine, but do it with somebody. Do it in a book, do it in YouTube videos, do it with a friend who might be a life coach or a friend that's a counselor. Just do it, because the truth will set you free, no matter how painful it is, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how much you feel rejected, no matter how much it even hurts to open that Pandora's box. I'm telling you what, it's so worth doing, because the pain that I've been in today is horrific. It's been so painful, but I know in a month's time that I'm going to be amazing. I'm going to be absolutely amazing. And do you know what I also know? And my son, who's 17, very spiritual, I brought them up with a spiritual awareness of their infinite power. He said to me, the thing is though, Mum, you know, don't you, that because you have looked into this Pandora's box and you've embraced this and you've worked through it, something amazing is coming for you. That's my 17-year-old son. And he's right, because every time you make a massive shift in your life, it is always preceded with massive pain. It has to be that way, doesn't it? It has to be that way, because to unlock and let go of something so massive, you're going to leave a gaping hole. I've just left the gaping hole of abandonment. I've opened it up and I've let it go. So now that gaping hole is going to be filled with something amazing. And that's what keeps me going, knowing that I've surrendered and let something so massive go that I can now embrace something equally as massive and as worthy and joyful and amazing for me. That's what keeps me going. And that's how it works. That's the truth of it. No coaches will tell you that. And most coaches lie. Most coaches, I don't care, they do. You don't see them in pain. You don't see them being honest. All they talk about is you. They never talk about themselves, because they're going through their own stuff and they want to pretend that they're not. They want to pretend they've already reached that nirvana. No, they haven't. None of them have. They're just not honest about it. So now that I've said my piece, I've got it off my chest. I've been real. I've been honest. I've been open with you. Before I look down at your comments, because I didn't want to get distracted, because I didn't want to get out of my head and into yours, out of my heart into yours. Before I do that, I'm going to say to you this. I thought about, the gifts and all of that stuff, blah, 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 blah. I have these, right? And I've talked to you about them. I have 50 of these. Well, not, I've got like 44, because I've given some to my beautiful concierges, right? Now, they've got some typos on them, because my eyesight is getting better every day. But my son, who is my sage, he noticed some typos on them. There's like one little incy tiny typo on every single page, all 6 of them, right? There is. I'm saying to you, I am happy because you are here, and I'm going to check in a minute the number. I haven't even looked at the screen. I'm happy for every one of you to have one of these. All you need to do is to DM me and send me the package and post it, and I will send these to you for free, for being here, for turning up, for saying yes to you, and for your patience and understanding through my journey, because this is supposed to be about your journey, and it is about your journey. Just because of what I'm going through, it doesn't take away what you've experienced. So all and each one of you can have one of these, and I will send them to you. That's my gift to you. And anybody that feels that they do want a 2-hour hypnotherapy and coaching session to clear something as massive as what I've just cleared, you need to DM me privately and we can have a conversation. I don't usually do one session of hypnotherapy and coaching, because it's not conducive. There's so much that we all need to work through, and I just think one of those things is going to start opening up a Pandora's box. But if you feel there's one thing that you want to work through, then you need to DM me and we can talk. All right, that's what I'm going to say about it. So the prizes, ta-da, you've all got one. I hope that is I don't know if it will make up for anything, but that was on my heart this morning. I thought, yeah, I want to do that. So now that I've done that, I can look down and see all your wonderful comments. And I hope that's given you some clarity as to what's been going on the last couple of days. And I'm not going to ask for your forgiveness. I'm going to say to you, I've just been honest with you, and I've put myself first in exactly the same way that I've been telling you for the last 5 days. You are the most important person in your life. Do you first, because that's what I did. Now, down to the comments. Right. Let's have a look. Wow, you have been chatting a lot, you beautiful people. Oh, my gosh. Let's go from the top. That was big, wasn't it? Not going to be too nice, or I know you will cry, but we're here. Beautiful. I know. Emma Jane, I know, darling. I know. I'm your twin. Do you know me? I know you. You probably felt me today. I love the fact that you're capable of admitting and accepting of your own revelations. It's the only way to be. It's the only way to, if you can't be honest with other people, then you can't be honest with yourself. If you lie to other people, you're lying to yourself. I'm not lying. I will not lie anymore, because I've only got one time in this meat jacket that says Anne-Marie. I've only got one time, and I want to make it the best time ever. So I will push every boundary and barrier of pain. I will push through, because I deserve peace. I deserve happiness. I deserve joy. And to get there, yeah, I've got to go through a few bits of discomfort. I've got to unravel all of the negative conditioning of my past, and there's been big lots. I'm prepared to do that. Why? Because I love me. I love me. Right. I am human indeed. Amen. You've noticed. Thank you very much. The woods, they were beautiful. Emma, if you see those photographs I posted today, they were beautiful. The sun came through. Oh, it was just like, I was like a baptism in the woods. I loved my woods today. They were definitely my church. You have all of us. Our doors are wide open. Bless you, beautiful angel. Really, 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 Love you so much. Natalie, thank you. Not going to lie, your timekeeping triggered me, but it helped me release stuff. So thank you. Yeah. You know what? When it triggers you, look inside. Whatever triggers you, look inside and see why it triggers you. Work it out, because I'm only bringing something to you that was already there. Think about that. You know, something has to have happened for it to trigger you again. Me talking about abandonment and rejection triggered me, my abandonment. So if it did trigger you, Judy, that's good. But don't just leave it there. Look inside. Why did my timekeeping trigger you? Where did that start? That's what I'm going to say to that one. They know about your nervousness. That must have been about the trees. I believe in signs, symbols. Ask the universe sign I'm thinking the right way. I phoned about early retirement and asked how much pension I would get. The only sign was B in a number plate, and then watch TV. They talked about pension B. No, there you go. You see? What an amazing boy. Both of my kids are amazing. My son, Casey, he's hard. He tells me as it is. He's not soft. But, all day he's been saying to me, I just love you, Mum. I'm here for you, Mum. I'm so glad that you was able to, he told me, we all talk, I just had this fantasy about my mum and, oh my God, and she just didn't love me. And I must have been so ugly and I must have been so unlovable. And I put it all on me. And he was like, I'll tell you what he said. He said, Mum, he said, you know me, you know our family. He said, we've always had a problem with adjusting to the 3D world, and we all of us have, right? We don't gel in the 3D world very well. We push, we resist, and we don't accept things that are given to us. None of my family do. We always ask why then we all do, right? And he said some people, he said, but one thing we've always had, our family, is we've always had deep love for each other. Even though we've said the worst things to each other, we've always had deep love for each other. We are always connected, me and all of my kids, right? He said, we do that, and other people are able to navigate the 3D world really well, and we don't, but we navigate love really well. He said, I'm going to tell you something about your mum that you're not going to want to hear, Mum. He said, your mum, she was a bad breed. I was like, wow. He said, she, and only because of her conditioning, she was born in the 50s or 40s or something. She grew up in that programming conditioning. She was craving that 2.5 family and all of that. And she was ready to give us away so that she could have that. I don't know what my mum was thinking, but she didn't have the same reverence and respect. And she didn't put love on the pedestal that me and my kids put love on a pedestal. We don't care what we haven't got materially. We just care about each other. We love each other deeply. We have big, deep love for each other. And I'm happy about that. Yes, I'd like nice things, but my children come first. And he said, Mum, he said, that's the biggest thing that you can have, because love is everything. And that's my son saying that to me. And that's beautiful that I brought him up, that he can tell me that in time of pain, that he could tell that to me. And it was just love. It was just so beautiful. Yeah, it was lovely. What have we got here? Such lovely and powerful words. Thank you, my darling. Thank you. I'm estranged from my mum, spent many a time crying, but now I thank her for bringing me into the world. Because of her, I have my beautiful children and grandchildren. Another Aries. There you go. You have the same gift. You have the gift of love. You have the gift of connection. And that is above and beyond anything else. Keep working on that. Keep focusing on that. Keep fine-tuning that. Keep honing in on that. Because when you have that, trust me, everything else will fall into place. It might take some time, and you may have placed other things first, which is why it's taken you a long time to get to that point. Now, I placed money. I thought that if I had a lot of money in a big house, that everything else would fall into place. How wrong I was. I got it totally arse over tit. What I needed to do is have the deep love and appreciation of what I have in my family and my love, and then everything else comes afterwards. And that's been proven to me time and time again. It's how I got this house. It's how I've had my business. It's how I've gone from being homeless 11 years ago with nothing to my name, and 3 bags and 3 kids, and I've amassed everything that I've got, not because I focused on money, because I focused on love. So that's the proof right there. Beautiful. The turkeys, I know, right? Emma Jane, if you see the site that you remember I showed you before, and there's another thing. Look at that as a sign and symbol. Last time I showed you the turkeys in the woods, remember? They were the grey ones, the big, fat, ugly grey ones. And I said, what are these? Massive, big grey birds. They were so ugly. And you told me they were. She said, I think by the sound, gobble, 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 I think they're turkeys. This wasn't a baby. It was a massive. Look at it on Facebook. It was massive. Yeah. I'll have to check this forest out. Sounds lovely. Wow, that's incredible. It's 0707. Look it up. 0707. And Natalie, I'll take you to the woods anytime, babe. You'll love it. You'll really love it. It's my church. It's my peace. It's my joy. It's my haven. It's my sanctuary. I love the woods. Never be without the woods. Never. Amen. Amen to that. Amen. So hard to be human sometimes. So glad of the skills I've learnt this year. Everything I've taught you, Emma Jane, is everything I use today. Up Periscope, remember? I had to do that a lot today. But I'm here, look, and you can see it. My eyes have been red all day because I have cried a lot. But look at me. I'm already in a place of alignment. Can you hear the energy back in my voice as opposed to yesterday? If you went back, and I know you won't because it was, I don't know, I wasn't on for long yesterday. But if you heard my voice yesterday, you could hear how low my vibration was, because I was carrying so much pain. And I didn't want to tell you because you're on a 5-day challenge and I'm supposed to be your guru. You can get into that mindset. You can be so focused on the outside projection of what you think everybody wants you to be that you can neglect your own heart and your own feelings and your own emotions. That's what I had to do yesterday for you, because I love you and I wanted you to have the perfect journey. But guess what? This morning I was like, it's not my job to carry those ladies. I've got to do me first. I can't be what they need if I'm not who I need to be. Yeah. So I took that time out, and I'm sorry if I triggered any of you, but it has brought me back into alignment so that I can give you this absolute truth today. And this might not mean anything to you today. Yeah. Everything I'm saying to you today, you might think, yeah, I don't really get it. But in a week's time or 2 weeks time or a month's time, everything that I'm saying today is going to come back to you and you're going to go, wow, I get it. Because it happens to me all the time. That's how I've got to have this life, because I face my pain every single time. Not next week, not, oh, I'll finish this program and I'll pretend I'm happy. No, it came up, it went bang, and I dealt with it. And that's what each and every one of you needs to do. Don't hide from it. Don't hide from your dark shadow. Don't hide from your pain. Look at it straight on and say, I'm ready to feel this. Go and cry in the woods for as long as you want to cry in the woods. You'll see signs, you'll see symbols, you'll get over it. And in a week's time, you'll be a new person, because that's what I'll be in 2 weeks' time. That's what this work does. That's why you need a guide. It doesn't have to be me. I'm actually past that. I did a 5-day challenge because I wanted to show you what I can do, but I'm past that. It doesn't have to be me. It's more important that you do it wherever you do it. Where are we? Yeah. I remember the words in our first hypnotherapy sessions about the negative thoughts. Who do they think they are? How dare they? And that, yes, Natalie, that is what I thought to myself today. You know what? The biggest turning point for me was when I was sitting and I saw all the deers go past, and I was like, oh, thank you. Showed me deers, rabbits and turkeys and horses. Look, I've seen so much of nature today, real nature, real life, what we're really here for. And I really did. I put it on my phone. It just really, it was just so profound. Let me just, oh, I turned it off. Just bear with me 1 second, right? Because I just feel this was a really good message to share with you. And now my phone is going to be so silly, it's not even going to play. Oh, gosh, get off. Look, there it is. Bear with. The sadness of every heartbreak lives in you. The joy of every bliss lives in you. The appreciation of every joyous moment lives in you. You can choose your heart's desire anytime you choose. I choose now, and the earth reflects my desires. And then you can see all the beautiful pictures that I took today, because I chose, I'm letting it go. And the earth said, the universe said, okay, we'll show you some reasons why you're still alive. We'll show you some reasons why you can be happy. And I saw them all. The sun coming through the trees, it was massive, and the turkey and the deers and the log that I was sitting on, everything was just perfect. Everything was just beautiful. And I was humbled. I was humbled with the magnificence of the universe being able to talk to me without words and show me you are loved, you are special, you are beautiful, you are all of this. All of this is you, and you are this. You are connected to everything. And it's just such a humbling moment. You can do that too, anytime, anytime. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for being on my journey with me while I was on your journey with you. Thank you for being part of the process of realization. Everything has happened exactly as it needed to happen. Your revelations will still come, as mine have today. There is a reason why you've been on this 5-day journey. Look for your truth, because it's in there somewhere. All right. And I'm really glad that you've enjoyed this time. I'm glad. Thank you for turning. Look, there's 9 of you here. You've turned up again every day. But remember, you've turned up not just for me, you've turned up for you as well. There's my beautiful Lucy. All of you are beautiful. You are loved, Anne-Marie. I love you for your honesty. You are healing you as you speak. Yeah, we are healing each other as we speak. We are healing each other. And I love you, Lucy. I love you, Emma Jane. I love you, Natalie. I love all of you ladies, but these are the ladies that my heart is actually connected with. And I'll be honored and blessed if I'm able to connect with any one of you. As I said, just DM me for a private message and we can talk. And definitely, please do, claim your beautiful self-love cards, because you deserve them. And look for your truth. I'm not going to keep you long. I'm actually going to have another early night, and I'm just going to enjoy being in the stillness of this week. Maybe that's what you need too. I'm not going to be on social media this week, so maybe this is a sign for you too. If you are here and you're in this 5-day challenge, it's not an accident. So look for your truth too. Yeah, there's a message in here for you somewhere. So I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to say I'm humbled and I'm blessed that we have spent this time together. It's been truly eye-opening. It's been amazing. It's been emotional, and I'm grateful. I have such gratitude because you have helped me to release the last bastions that I can think of, but they were big ones. Abandonment is a massive one. And I want you to realize something else about abandonment. You know, abandonment is not just about being left by your mum. Abandonment can be, you know, being left by a partner. It can be, I was thinking about all the ways that abandonment manifests itself. You know, it could be the Asian girl that has been betrothed, has been given an arranged marriage, and she doesn't want to marry that person. And her family says, you've got no choice. They abandon her and tell her, you've got to do this. Or there's so many ways that people are abandoned. Or, you know, the lady that's given her life to philanthropy and given out to everybody else, and her husband has been overlooked, and one day he leaves her and she's like, what? How can this happen to me? I've been a good person all my life. How can someone leave me when I've been so good? And that is even worse, because you don't know why. You can't reason it. You can't process it. There are so many ways that you can be abandoned that you don't even recognize, but that you live with the consequences and the aftermath of that. Someone could pass away, and that could feel like abandonment. Someone close to you that you've loved. There are so many ways. Don't how can I say it? I'm not saying look for it. I'm just saying be aware that this could have happened to you and you don't even realize it. You don't even realize it. You're living with it. You're avoiding with it. You're feeling it. You don't even realize it, but that pain is there, and it will come up. Allow it to, and just feel it. Let it, just feel it, and then look for the joy, and look for the lesson, and then look for the joy, and it will come. Anyway, I'm rambling. Just going to do these last messages. Had so much come up for me in the last 24 hours too. Think it's in the air. Emma Jane, we're twins. I'm sorry. We're not sorry, babe. We're not sorry. You know what? It's better to do it now. Who wants to be a flipping 80-year-old woman sitting in a rocking chair with all this shit coming up, with no one to talk to? All your kids have left home and you're on your own and you're processing all this sadness and you're too old to even go to the woods. No one wants that shit. Do it now while you've got the strength. Do it now. You'll be so grateful to yourself. I know it's painful. Your heart feels like it's being ripped out. You know, honestly, this morning I was just like, you're in that place of absolute, I don't even want to be here. But the other side of that, when you come through, when you allow yourself to experience it, is where your bliss is. On the other side of your pain is your absolute bliss. Yin, yang. You can't have one without the other, sadly. Anne-Marie, giving the real deep talk. I respect you. Bless you. Yvette, it's the truth. I'm only ever going to be honest with you. Only ever. And when I speak my truth, then I allow you to speak yours. When I feel my truth, when I'm not pretending, then you don't have to pretend. You can see the rawness of where I am now. That will allow you to be your true self. And you will be so grateful. You will. Trust me. Trust me. Because I've trusted myself and I've done it. And I've never been as free as I am today. I listened to my sister talk today, telling herself that story. My sister's in a lot of pain. My brother is in pain. My younger sister, who watched my mum take an overdose and die, she's in absolute pain. And that was something, yeah. My mum gave me away. My younger sister, she kept my younger sister, and then she committed suicide. And she asked my two younger sisters, they aided and abetted her. They gave her the pills to commit suicide. And she died in their house. And it was my younger sister, who was actually 5 at the time, who found her dead, who then went to my 4-year-old sister and said, think mum's dead. And then they walked to my neighbour's house. They found my mum dead. You know what? As my son said to me, he said, Mum, he said, what would you have rather have been? Would you have rather stayed with your mum and seen your mum die? Or was you glad that you went to a children's home? Because my younger sister, she's in intense pain and she can't even get over it, right? At least I can get over my shit. And I tried to talk to her about it. She can't even hear it because it's too deep and too painful. She's pressed it down too much, as has my older sister. Yeah, I'm supposed to be the Fruit Loop, but I'm the one that's doing the work. I'm the one that's getting through it and process. I'm not the one that lies to myself. I'm not the one that's got, a different boyfriend every 3 months that says, no, I just like dating. No, you don't like dating. I'm the one that's telling myself the truth. So you choose. And my son said that to me the other day, Mum, we don't live conventionally like other people because we don't, but they're the ones that are in absolute pain. We live our lives in joy every day. We have a little bit and we get over it. Who's the mad one? The one that's happy or the one that's living a lie? I don't know. That's for the individual to work out. But what I did say to my sister is, and what I'm going to say to you is, what she believes she's happy. It's her truth. I cannot tell her she's not happy, because guess what? We live in a multi-dimensional world. We live in a multi-dimensional world. What does that mean? Your truth inside your head is your reality, is your world, and mine is mine. So your world is not the same as my world. Externally, the things that we see are the same, but even as we process them, they're not the same. I can see a cake or I can see the woods and you can say, I don't like the woods. Well, my friend Diana, I don't like the woods. It's full of bugs and things. I'm like, it's the most beautiful place I've ever seen. My son loves to be by the sea. He doesn't see what I see in the forest. Do you see what I mean? Everybody I know has a different world and a different reality to me. So I'm not going to tell anybody your reality is wrong. All I'm going to say to you is make sure your reality makes you happy. That's all. That's all I can say. I can't tell you it's wrong and you can't tell me mine's wrong, because I live what I see, what I feel. So do you. But just make sure it's what you're happy with. All right. Ooh. Emma Jane, we're going to talk anyway, babes. Yvette, we're going to talk. I'm so looking forward to working with you. Julie Marie, she's feeling it. Good, good, good. See, look, it opens up. Doesn't it open up a different vibe, a different awareness when you talk this honestly? My stepdaughter was abandoned at 3 years old, and I remember how my late husband told me, she begged, Mum, don't leave me. I received her as my daughter as I felt her deep pain. Lucy, that's a beautiful thing, and I'm glad someone as beautiful as you was able to be there for her to help her process that deep, deep pain. And I hope she's worked her way through that. But the biggest thing that your stepdaughter needs to do is forgive herself, because that pain is not about the pain of losing a parent. It's about the pain of thinking that you're the reason for the loss. That's the deep bit. Because when I think about my mum, the fact that she committed suicide and I never knew her. I used to think I was sad about never knowing my mum, but it wasn't even that. The biggest pain was just thinking it was my fault that she didn't want me. And of course it wasn't. I was 2 years old. That was the biggest pain that I carried, that somehow it was my fault. So it's about self-forgiveness and self-love. You can only forgive yourself when you love yourself enough to do that journey, right? Just gonna do these last messages. So much. Mwah. Bless you. Blown away by your honesty. That's me. That is me. I don't. I speak my truth so others can speak theirs. Your honesty is so real and good to hear. Good evening, Tina. Lovely to see you here. You kind of walked in at the kind of moment. You know, that must have been a bit raw and accepting of yourself. Amen. I am all of that. And you missed the high bits at the beginning because there was lots of joy and, you know, it's all part of the journey, right? It's all part of the journey. And I'm just glad that you accept me for the open and honest person that I am, because that means a lot to me. It means a lot that I can be my true and real self, because that's all I want you to be. You know, that's all I want you to be, is real and true. You can lie to everybody else, but don't ever lie to yourself, because that's the biggest pain to carry. I knew you were the real deal, Anne-Marie, when I heard you speak before. I remember I said I want to work with her. Thank you. I don't, because I will cry when you say things like that. Thank you. I believe your mum's soul chose to become this person in this lifetime and take on this super hard role that she did, because she was in a soul contract with your soul, because your soul was ready to do this journey. The growth your soul is having in the, oh, you missed a bit there. Yeah. Good night, Sarah Jane. Everyone's truth is different. Amen. Good night, Yvette. Love you, darling. Notice what you notice. That's my mantra. And that serves me every day of my life, every single day of my life. And it will serve you too. Keep it in your mind. Notice what you notice. All right, my lovelies. God bless. Sleep well. Listen to your beautiful self-acceptance meditation. Be you, do you, love you. Mwah. All right. And I'll see you all soon. Take care, my lovelies. Good night. God bless.